Hello, my name is Miss Melinda, and I'm going to help you find some things to do while you're kind of shut in with mom and dad. And the first thing I'm going to show you how to make is a rose. And we're going to have a series of videos showing you how to make several spring flowers out of paper. So the first one, I've decided to use crepe paper. And I found these crepe paper streamers in my house, and I thought that I would use them for this because we're not supposed to go out shopping for things. We're going to try to use what we have at home. So you could make this with crepe paper, or you could make it with tissue paper, either one. And I have made them with copy paper. If you ask mom, I bet she could help you find the things that you need. So I'm just rolling up this crepe paper, and in the directions, I showed you how, or gave you a template so that you could cut this out with a pattern, or you can just do it like I'm going to do it, and I'm not going to use a pattern. So I think I have enough cut out to have 12 to 14 petals. So I'm just going to take my scissors, and I'm going to do a half circle here. I want the top to be round. And I'm going to do another half circle the other way. And then I'm going to cut the bottom off. Make sure I got them all cut. And make sure I got them all cut at the top. Okay. So I've cut all my petals out at one time. I'm going to put them here. Now, I'm going to take a long piece of clear tape, enough for 12 to 14 petals to fit on. And I'm going to bend the end down just a little bit so that my fingers don't stick to it. I know it's hard to see on the video, but okay. And then I'm going to lay it down on the table, sticky side up. Now I'm going to take my petals and I'm just going to stick them to the tape. If you get two together, that's okay. You put two down at once. You want to make sure that you're overlapping the petals as you put them down. Now, the larger you make the petals, the larger your rose is going to be. I was a little limited by my small crepe paper streamer. If I were cutting it out of other paper, I might want to make it a little bigger. So the more petals you put, the fluffier your rose is going to be. And here's some I didn't cut very well, so we'll fix them. I think that worked out great. Move this over a little. Then I'm going to take a bamboo skewer. Now, if your mom doesn't have any, or dad doesn't have any of these at home, you could go out to a shrub and cut a little stick or off of a tree limb and use it. So what I'm going to do, and this has a sharp point on it, I'm just going to try to cut that sharp point off. There we go. So I'm going to put it on the end of the tape and wrap the tape around the stick. When I do that, the petals should follow. But sometimes you kind of have to help them out, tuck them in, but go slowly and you'll see that it'll work out pretty good. Just keep turning it, and helping it along, helping the petals along. Okay, so I'm going to tuck that tape down and press it together, and there's my rose. So now I'm going to take what's called floral tape, and I'm going to start right where the top of that Scotch tape or clear tape is, and I'm going to stretch this really tight and wrap it around it. Now, let me finish doing this, and I'm going to talk to you about this floral tape. But I'm twisting it around the stem because the stem is green and the tape looks really nice on it. Okay. Now, sometimes I do a little extra at the top just because usually the top of the rose stem is thicker than the bottom. Roll a little more around there. And that helps it to not come apart. So now we're going to form our rose. So the crepe paper works really well. Whenever you stretch it, it'll just curl back naturally like a rose petal. Pretty easy. The tissue paper, you have to work at it with it a little harder. You don't tug too hard. I almost pulled that petal out, but if that happens, you could always glue it back in. And there is your rose. This one's looking a little ragged. I didn't cut my petal very well, so we're going to go back and trim it up a little. There we go. That's pretty good. It's a pretty good rose. Now, we're not quite finished though. So I'm just going to set the rose there. And I'm going to get some green paper. I'm going to cut a large square and a small square. Okay. This is green cardstock. You could use green paper, it'd probably be easier, or green tissue paper, but you can see I folded it twice. And now I'm going to try to make it a little rounded. Okay. See how we're doing. And then I'm going to cut something that's going to look like a chicken foot when I get done. Do you know what a chicken foot looks like? It's pretty pointy. I didn't put this in the directions. I might have to go back and add it. So if you get the directions with it, you know that I went back and added it after I made the video. So there's a funny looking shape. It's kind of pointy. So I'm going to take the end of the stick of the rose and I'm going to put it through the hole and I'm going to push it up. And this is why I made the top a little thicker so that this would stay on the rose. And then I'm going to bend those points down a little bit because the roses, real roses, this is how they naturally look. These are the little wraps that were around the rose before it opened, and they split apart and folded down so that the beautiful rose could come out. Okay. Now with the larger one, I'm going to fold it in half. And I'm going to cut a little stem at the bottom, and then I'm going to cut a half circle. And I'm going to make this pointy, so I'm going to cut another half circle, and then have that little stem at the bottom. See? So now I'm going to put it on the rose stem, kind of wrap that stem around it, and use my floral tape. Now, this floral tape is not like other tape. It isn't sticky. It's kind of like the crepe paper. You can stretch it, and when you stretch it, there's wax in there that helps it to be sticky and it sticks together. See, it's sticking to my fingers. So when you're putting things on, when you're putting your little pieces on, you want to make sure. Now I'm going to put this leaf down farther on the other side. See? And I'm going to take the floral tape and I'm going to hold it on one end and I'm going to stretch as I wrap. So I'm going to wrap around there a couple of times and then finish wrapping the stem. And finish it off really pretty and neat. Then we just bend our leaves down a little bit and we have a beautiful rose. Now this is the rose made with the crepe paper, and I would probably sit and play with it for a little while until I got it looking like I wanted. Okay. And this is a rose that I made with tissue paper, and I used a dark pink and a light pink. So there's the beginning of our beautiful spring bouquet. Now later we'll learn how to make a daffodil, a hydrangea. It's a lot of fun and it's pretty easy. It's made with chenille stems and a piece of wire. Okay, so stay tuned. And when we get through this, you'll have a beautiful bouquet that you could put on your table and or give to your mom and say happy spring. So I'm signing out until next time.